Gotcha.
And besides maybe 3 or 4 cars that were missing, you had the best race cars there in on the East Coast. So I think it's just the market they're looking to reach, and the drivers that they're looking to get, they're just looking for the absolute best. And I think it's a deal where, like Chris said on a show the other day, Martinsville gets 60 to 70 cars because you can't go race out of Martinsville on any other Saturday night. You can race there one time a year.
Right.
This deal, you can go race Orange County any Saturday night you want to go race it. So I think a deal hit about where they thought it was going to hit, and I feel like it'll be 10 or 15 more cars next year because things went so well. But I think the whole deal was a success.
Let's talk about those last 13 laps after that late race caution. 13 laps to go. Time to drop the hammer, so to speak. You, Josh Berry, Brandon Pierce, your teammate. So many great, talented drivers in the mix. Taylor out there, Gray Taylor. Everybody was fighting and clawing for that $30,000 payday. There was a lot of bumping, there was a lot of banging, but there was a lot of respect given by you guys. I said this talking with you during post-race for Speed 51 Network and for the other people I had spoken with in the media as well. That was probably one of the best late model stock asphalt races I have seen or been a part of in less than a decade. Talk about just those last 13 laps and what it came down to being what it was.
Yeah, it was awesome. Of course, I didn't want to see that last caution because I kind of checked out a little bit, got the lead from Timothy Peters there, and pulled away from the field. And I was a little sick when the caution come out because I knew it was going to be a dog fight. And it took you top there on the restart, and Josh Berry had him on the bottom there. He didn't cut me no slack, which I didn't expect him to for $30,000. And we raced hard, he run me out of real estate a few times, and was able to get by me, but as soon as he got by me, I knew I was going to give him, the same deal in return. So I got back to the bottom side of him and was able to wash him up the hill a couple times and washed him up decently out of turn 4 and was able to get back down and away from him and just pull away from the field. So it was some pretty hard-nosed racing there for 4 or 5 laps, and it felt like 50 laps, every lap was just so intense, but it was a hell of a battle. And I went back and watched the race, and the fans couldn't ask for a better show than that. 2 drivers laying it all on the line, and then Brandon Pierce and Taylor Gray up in the mix too. It was pretty phenomenal.
And don't count out also what is that? The other kid had a pretty good run as well. Finley, I think it was just an awesome race had. And Dennis Bold comments and says that was some of the best racing I have ever seen in quite some time for late models. Lee, I don't want you to embellish how old you are, but do you remember the old days of the NASCAR Busch Series beat at Orange County? Wasn't that the type of atmosphere that we felt Sunday afternoon being there in the track out of the middle of nowhere in Rougemont, North Carolina? Because, you got to drive about a good 25 miles off I-85 to get to that racetrack off the beaten path. And it was just phenomenal. I had to walk a half mile to park my car.
Yeah, the atmosphere was incredible. I've seen Busch races at South Boston and Orange County and all sorts of stuff, and that's what kind of atmosphere it was. I think late model stock racing has, got a bright future. I think that's what kind of stuff fans want to see. That's the show that they want to see. They want to be able to interact with the drivers. They want to, have different personalities out there. You got some of the old veterans, you got some newcomers, and you got a little bit of everything in between. So it's a bright future, I think, for the sport. And the Cars Tour is like the place to be, in my opinion. It's some tough racing every week, and I'm fortunate, to hopefully have a shot to win this championship with Brandon Pierce behind the wheel. And he had a good run too, and we had Corey Heim up there before he got tore up. So all in all, it was just a great weekend for LPP.
Definitely. And, obviously, where does Lee Pulliam go from here? Obviously, the momentum continues. You just said you're trying to run for the championship. You got Brandon Pierce. You've got Corey Heim in the car once in a while. Obviously, having perfect success for all three of your LPP, Lee Pulliam Performance Racing teams making it into the event. I think it's a bad call with what happened at South Boston a couple of weeks ago. I don't think that you deserve to be suspended. I don't think you deserve to have to pay a fine, but it is what it is. You know how NASCAR can be. But obviously this past weekend had to be a nice lid lifter to overcome all of the controversial and all of the nonsense that you went through 2 weeks ago at South Boston.
Yeah, like I said, that was couple weeks ago, so we're trying not to even think about that right now. It is what it is, and we know where our program stacks. We know the people that believe in us. We're lucky to have great drivers right now, and and all that. All that's just hindsight. So we'll just focus on continuing to have a great season, and we'll be back in South Boston on April 20th and try to get 2 wins. So I do appreciate you guys having me on today as well.
Definitely, buddy. Before we let you go, Lee Pulliam, thank out all your sponsors on that car number 5, the car number 2, all the great people that you got behind your racing program, and continued success throughout the year. And I'm pretty sure we'll be seeing you very soon at Martinsville and all these other big shows coming up along the way.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I couldn't do it without Travis and Eddie Kiker Tree Service, Chris Mincy and Mincy's Graphics, John Folsom at Diversified Fence Builders, Bolt Doctors, Olive Hill Weldon, iBox Springs, JRI Shocks, PFC Brakes, KRC, JRI, just so many people, 5-Star Race Car Bodies, Bassett Wheels, a lot of big supporters for us. So I apologize if I'm leaving anybody off, but I just appreciate everybody that's involved with it, the team, sponsors, family, friends, and just everybody that has a piece of the puzzle.
I got one more question for you before I let you go, Lee. One word.
I'm about to have to disappear. I'm about a little bit late for my meeting.
I got you. One word to describe this past Sunday's win for you. One word.
Phenomenal.
Phenomenal. There you go. Lee Pulliam, thank you so much, buddy. God bless and take care. Continued success.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Wes.
Lee Pulliam from out in Virginia, the winner of the $30,000 Old North State Nationals. And what a show that it was. It was absolutely phenomenal. Great racing that was put on. And when it was all said and done, the driver of car number 1, his racing team, everybody just gelled perfectly. And the driver, Lee Pulliam, picked up the big win. He obviously had to jump off, as you heard. And again, I do know he had some kind of obligations going on, a doctor's appointment or something going on this morning at the bottom of the hour. So I did want to jump off before 11:30 to let him be able to make that doctor's appointment. So do not want to hold these guys up. They're the stars. They're the talent. By the way, we came on the air so quickly. Didn't even have a chance to even give you the guest lineup today. And we've got a great guest lineup. I know we talked about everything from late models to modified supers. Got a great weekend of racing coming up. Of course, we're going to have on the Mac Daddy himself, Del McDowell out of Chickamauga, Georgia. He'll talk about his big win so far this year. And then, of course, also previously winning the ultimate event at Volunteer Speedway last Thursday night at Spring Thaw. We're also going to have on Zack Mitchell, the 2-time and defending Ultimate Super Late Model Series champion, wins race number 4 of the year at Friendship Speedway in Elkin, North Carolina. We'll talk to him about that big event. Also, Mike Altobelli out of Saxton, Pennsylvania, dominated in the modifieds, and we will have him on the program. And then, of course, in addition to that, tentatively is also going to be Matt Long. Matt Long is tentatively going to join us. He had some other obligations. If people don't know, Matt Long is also a Matt Long is the marketing manager, one of the big gurus at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and he had to go into 4 meetings. So, but I do know that Zach Mitchell's going to be on, Mike Altobelli's going to be on, and Dale McDowell, Matthew Long is a possibility. So, again, we've still got a long way to go, and I told him that if we finished up at a pretty decent time, by all means, please do not hesitate to let us know, hey, I'm available. So we are going to just take a stroll down memory lane, and we're going to do that with Tony Stevens and Cars Tour TV recapping Lee Pulliam and his big $30 history-winning moment.
Pulliam up the speedway, but Peters with the older tires can't get back underneath of him. Barry, bumper to Peters.
Listen to this excitement. It's phenomenal.
Contact, turn 4. Peters doesn't want to give up second to Barry. Barry says, forget you, dude. I'm chasing down that 5 car. Peters relinquishes third. Now Brandon Pierce has to race with his former teammate. A trade limit pay hard in the wall. Timothy Peters. Contact. Likely a cut tire from Timothy Peters after contact with Brandon Pierce. Here we go. Through the KRC power steering restart zone. Lee Pulliam may have spun the tires ever so slightly. He chose the high side. Josh Berry's going to rough him up and send him up the hill. Side by side for $30,000, and Brandon Pierce makes it 3. Now 4 wide off turn 4. New leader with 12 to go, Josh Berry, but this one's not over yet. This time Pulliam gets the advantage at turn 3. Contact from Berry yet again. Pulliam leads with 10 laps to go. 15 one-thousandths of a second. This time Berry moves him up the hill. Pulliam now going to give chase, maybe repay the favor. He does. Swap lanes. Berry now leads with 9 to go. Pulliam going to run him up the hill in turn 2. If you don't like racing and you don't like this, then you're not a race fan. New leader, 8 to go, Lee Pulliam. Taylor Gray muscles his way by to second. White flag is in the air. Lee Pulliam's got 3/8 of a mile separating him from a further legendary status. Into turn 3. Lee Pulliam is going to win the inaugural Old North State Nationals and take home a $30,000 payday, the richest in late model stock history.
Well, there you go.
Excited on pit
a special
road.
moment for the driver.
He pissed me off. He ran me in the wall 2 or 3 times, and it was a hell of a show. I mean, hard racing right there. I figured once he cleared me, I was going to give it right back to him, and he ain't going to push his 5 car around. Let's go push back. So really proud of everybody on this team. Awesome effort by all the guys. Be sitting here at Victory Lane. Home track really for me. South Boston, is my closest track to home, and this is second. Went to school 15 miles down the road, and a lot of family and friends. So this is big for me. I haven't hardly ever raced here, and to put it in Victory Lane here in Orange County, man, words just can't describe it.
So Lee Pulliam right there describing that race. We wanted to play that before we called him up, but of course after we had to get him on the air quickly and to get him off, we wanted to play that though because it was just a phenomenal race. Dennis Bold said it best, and so did others, that it was probably one of the best. And I say this, okay? I travel all over the country. I see everything from dirt to asphalt to drag racing to NASCAR and more. We're not even going to talk about the demise of the diminished grandstands at Bristol on Sunday. That was so disappointing. But with that being said, I thought we saw a pretty darn good race at Bristol on Sunday itself. It's just dismal that the crowd wasn't there. Whether you want to blame it on the weather, whether you want to blame it on ticket sales, or you want to blame it on there were certain parts of the grandstands that they did not sell tickets for, and I think that's ridiculous because there was a time where Bristol used to be on a 2 or 3 year wait to get tickets, and now, and now This is what we've succumbed to. So I feel bad for Bristol Motor Speedway. I feel bad for Marcus Smith. I feel bad for everybody involved at Speedway Motorsports Incorporated, and I hope they can turn it around because I think Bristol offers some excellent racing, whether it's the track of yesterday, whether it's the track of now. I don't know. That's where we're at right now. So we're going to go to the phone lines. When we come back, we are going to talk to Quick. Well, we used to call him Kid Quick. Zack Mitchell. Now, I think Tommy Tedder of the Ultimate Series calls him Easy E. Back in a moment. This is Finish Line. We'll be back here with Zack Mitchell, Dale McDowell, Mike Altobelli, all on the way.
This is Kate.